Let me give you a scenario. You use your VA home loan, you buy a home, you do everything right, and then you get PCS orders. So you move, you rent the property out, you think everything is fine, until one day your lender starts asking questions, and suddenly you've been told you may have violated your VA loan occupancy agreement. In my 23 years of working with VA buyers, I've seen this exact situation turn into a financial disaster more than once, and almost every time it could have been avoided. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about moving to San Diego, then subscribe and click that bell for notifications so that you can be the first to know about the current market here in San Diego, California. My name is Victoria Sandoval and I would select Premier Properties. We get calls from people just like you every single day. So whether you're looking to move in 9 days or 9 months, feel free to reach out. My contact information is on the description below, and I'd be happy to help you make a smooth move to San Diego. I'm Victoria, and for over 23 years, I've worked directly with military families using VA loans to buy, sell, and build long-term wealth through real estate. Today, we're breaking down something that is constantly misunderstood and honestly, not explained well enough by most lenders or agents. We're talking about VA loan occupancy requirements and what really happens when you receive PCS orders. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand what the VA actually requires from you, what intent to occupy really means, what your options are when you get orders, how to legally convert your home into a rental, and most importantly, how to avoid making a mistake that could cost you your VA eligibility. This is one of those videos you want to watch all the way through because every section builds on the next. What VA occupancy rules really are. Let's start with the foundation. What are VA occupancy rules? Here's the simplest explanation. When you use a VA loan, you are agreeing that the home will be your primary residence, not a second home, not a vacation home, not an investment property from day one. Now let's go deeper because this is where people get confused. The VA is not saying you must live in this home forever. That's not the rule. The rule is based on intent at the time of purchase. That means when you close on the property, you must genuinely intend to live in the home as your primary residence. And this is where I see the biggest misunderstanding in my 23 years in the business. People think the rule is about time. It's not. It's about intent. Example, you buy a home, you move in, 3 months later, you get PCS orders. So you leave. That is completely acceptable. But if you buy the home and before you even close, you're already planning to rent it out, now you're in a completely different situation. And yes, lenders can look at that. Now let's talk about the 60-day rule because this one gets repeated all over the internet and it's often explained incorrectly. You'll hear you have to move in within 60 days. That's partially true. But here's the real explanation. The VA expects occupancy within a reasonable time, and most lenders interpret that as 60 days. But reasonable time is flexible. In my experience, I've seen the window extended for deployment situations, major renovations, school schedules for kids, existing lease agreements. The key is not the timeline. The key is your ability to demonstrate you intend to move in. Here's a deeper scenario. Let's say you buy a home in San Diego, but you're stationed in another state. You plan to relocate in 90 days. That can still be acceptable as long as it's documented. What documentation looks like? Change of station paperwork, communication with your lender, moving plans, lease termination timelines. This is why communication matters so much, because silence is what creates problems. Now let's get into PCS orders because this is where everything becomes real. You buy a home, you move in, you're settled, and then orders come in. This happens all the time, especially here in San Diego. If you receive PCS orders after you've occupied the home, you are allowed to move out. You are not violating your VA loan. That's the part most people understand. But here's where we go deeper. What you should do immediately the moment you receive orders is notify your lender. Not because you need permission, but because you want documentation. In my 23 years, the veterans who avoid problems are the ones who document everything. Let's walk through 3 scenarios. Scenario number 1, a clean transition. You buy a home, you live in it for a year, you get orders, you move out and rent it out. That's perfectly fine. Scenario number 2, quick PCS. You buy the home, you move in, 2 months later, you get orders, still fine, because your intent was clear. Scenario number 3, the risk zone. You buy the home, you never move in, you rent it out immediately. That's where problems start. All right, spouse and dependent. Let's talk about the powerful but often overlooked rule. Your occupancy requirement can be satisfied by your spouse or a dependent child. This is huge. If your spouse lives in the home, that satisfies the VA occupancy requirement. What does not count are parents or friends or roommates or tenants. Why this matters. I've had clients deployed overseas who never physically live in the property, but their spouse did, and they were fully compliant. Let's talk about an advanced strategy insight. This is where some veterans create long-term flexibility. You buy in a strong market, your spouse remains in the home, you receive orders, and now you have a property that you can later become a rental. This is how you start building a portfolio right away. If this is helping you understand how to actually use your VA loan the right way, take a second and like the video and share it with another military friend or family member. Because most people are getting this information wrong and it can cost them. Renting your VA home after PCS. Now let's talk about rentals because this is where opportunity comes in. Yes, you can rent out your VA financed home, but only after you've met the occupancy requirement. What that looks like. You lived in the home, or your spouse did, then you received orders, then you converted it into a rental. What you cannot do, buy it with the intention of renting it out immediately. Here's a financial strategy layer. This is where I guide a lot of my clients. We look at rental income potential, we look at cash flow, we look at future appreciation, refinance options, because a PCS move can actually become a wealth building moment. Violations and consequences. Let's talk about what happens if you get this wrong. Possible consequences include loan acceleration, meaning the full balance becomes due, fraud investigation, if intent was misrepresented, loss of VA eligibility. Now let's be clear, this does not happen to everyone, but in my 23 years, every time I've seen it happen, it started with a lack of understanding or someone tries to bend the rules. What to do step by step when orders hit. Here's your exact plan. Number 1, notify your lender. Number 2, keep your PCS orders documented. Number 3, decide your strategy. Sell, rent, refinance. Step number 4, talk to a professional who understands VA loans. If you want more strategies like this, make sure to subscribe and turn on those notifications because I break this down every week in a way most people don't. Here's the bottom line. The VA loan is one of the most powerful benefits you can have, but it's not just about using it. It's about using it correctly. When you understand the rules, you gain flexibility. You gain options and you gain control. And when PCS orders come, you're not reacting. You're making strategic decisions. In the next video, I'm going to break down how to use your VA loan multiple times without losing your entitlement. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.